Hey everybody, it's Old Folks here. I want to do a little video series on the Beast Soul components for different heroes. I'm going to do it by classes again. We're going to kind of look through each other and everybody. Now obviously some of the heroes I don't have, like Thanos, and some of the people I don't have, like Pandarus or Panda Guy, whatever you want to talk about them. You know, I'll talk about them, but I won't be able to show you obviously. Some people have talked about the storage thing here. You know, obviously there's different things you can do now by looking up, you know, what you have based on each class. You know, you can now dissolve things here. So, you know, I'll just look here and see, oh, okay, that's the one I've got the most of, basically. And I can click dissolve. And I'm going to get 67. Now, obviously that's not a lot. Is it worth dissolving? Not for me. I never know what they're going to add. Sure, I might get more later, but I'm just going to save it. So we're going to kind of ignore that right now. But let's get into the actual part of Beast Soul. So this is going to be the tank aspect. I'll do each one individually, post videos as I go through them. So let's just jump right into it. Now, obviously, the tank's role is to survive. That is their job. Their job is to stay alive. Now, obviously, there's a few tank heroes that aren't tanks. You know, we can talk about smoke and whatnot. So let's just kind of get into it. Now you'll notice on like Monk Sun here, I'm running the Behemoth set. Obviously on the Behemoth set, the big thing here is they're going to get a shield. After 3 times they receive damage, they get the shield. You know, it protects them. There's one. Wow, that is super slow. I can't believe they do this. I've never watched their video. It's just so bad. So they get the shield. That's the cool little shield. You know, that's the big thing. It negates damage obviously done to that. Also, when their hit points below 80%, for a certain amount of time, they take 10% less damage. So again, you know, the perk of that is they're not getting killed as quickly. They used to show you how much the shield was. They don't do that now. There it is. So currently it is almost 3,000. Next level it'll be 4,000. So that's kind of what happens. All right, so let's move there. So basically, main tanks that are going to do this, the majority of guys are going to use the Behemoth. Now, some people have ran Chavez with the Behemoth. Some people ran him with the Dragon set. You know, the truth is for him, you know, you really want him to stay alive. Now, that little shield comes into play how many times a battle? I mean, good gosh, he's constantly getting hit. You know, the longer he's alive, the better. I've never seen the Dragon set when I've tested it be better for him than this, so I'm always going to run the Behemoth set. Same thing with Jacob. I've ran both. In fact, someone has a really nice... Come on! Really nice all purple set. I've ran this set through everybody. He's the only one that wears it because he already has a shield and the Behemoth messes up his shield. So all these tanks here I run the Behemoth set on. Some people say, what about Sizo? You know, you can run it both ways. Some people try to make him more of an attack person, but again, you want him to stay alive, and the damage he's doing, well, it's great and helps him heal some. The shield has served me better. I got a few buddies, they've gone both ways, and they usually end up back with, you know, the Behemoth set. So it's kind of not as versatile as a lot of people think. Again, here we go. Again, you know, this part here, since I don't really have a full set that's evolved for both, I've swapped 2 pieces of each so that they gain that initial stats. But if I had to choose, I'm going to go again with the Behemoth. I want him to stay alive. I'm going to go with the Behemoth. Here, this one's a tricky one, and I've ran it both ways. I've ran the purple set on him. You know, the problem is a lot of time when he's fighting those back rows, he's getting beat up. So I really want to maximize his time alive because sure, he might do an extra 1,000 points of damage with that other set, but here he gets an extra attack or 2 in, which is an extra 10,000 damage or more sometimes. So I run the Behemoth because that's what I want him on. If I was to put something on her, it's going to be the Behemoth. It's going to be the Behemoth. Behemoth. Now this one is a tricky one, and I've seen it done both ways. Spar is one of those difficult. I mean, he is an all-in kind of guy. I want to do massive damage. I know a guy that's got him like orange 3, running the dragon set. Got like the 3 runes, you know, the +6 going, and the guy throws down major damage. So, you know, you can do that, but for the majority of the time, especially if he's your only tank, if he's not an off tank, you're going to want the Behemoth set. So if you're running him as an off tank, kind of like some guys do with Sizo, then you can run the dragon. But the majority of the time, it's going to the Behemoth. Same thing here, same thing here, here. Again, this is one of those tricky ones also. As an off tank, a lot of times you're going to see people put on him the dragon set, but as the main tank, which doesn't happen a lot, he's going to go Behemoth because he has lifesteal and everything else. So, you know, it really kind of depends on what you're doing with him. But the majority of people, if he's off tank, go dragon. If he's not off tank, go Behemoth. The issue you run here is, again, the shields kind of mess up with each other sometimes. So the majority of people run the dragon set on him because, again, it's just not something you want. As far as the other tanks that go that I currently don't have, if we talk about Panda Boy, you're going to run the Behemoth. That's the majority of guys are going to run it because they want him to stay alive. Usually he's the main damager instead of an off tank. If he was the off tank, you could put it in there, but he does a pretty good amount of damage, and again, you want him to stay alive to disrupt the enemy. So, for the tanks, for the majority of every tank you've got, the Behemoth set is really the way to go. From there, a few off tank situations, a few you know, individuals like him and Spar, potentially a Smoke, definitely an Izzy, Nazi, however you say it, I don't know. And then again, you know, maybe here you can go the dragon, but just realize, you know, unless you're the 2 people that are actually using shields on their own, you're going to probably run Behemoth. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you run. Don't forget to do kind of like what I did with Poulon here. If you don't have a full set, put 2 of each. That way you're getting the double bonuses. You know, I mean, he picks up almost 3,000 hit points here, picks up almost 3,000 hit points here, plus armor resist. So, I mean, it adds up. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great one, and I will talk to you all later.